Hello, good afternoon. This is David Soto talking to you, and today is my weekly trade predictions for the upcoming trading week of October 26th through October 30th, 2020. Okay, and what I'm going to do right here is I will look at all the major forex currency pairs on a 30-minute time frame, just so we can see what happened this past week. Okay, and then I'm going to compare that to higher time frames, such as the 4-hour, daily, and weekly charts, just to try and give you my analysis of what I think is going to happen this coming week. So to start with, I would say this past week was a bit crazy. There was a lot of like fake reversals. The market did not go exactly as I thought it would, but overall it was a pretty good week, a successful trading week. Now I will say the US dollar did tank and did drop a lot more than I expected. I was kind of predicting that the US dollar would be going up. So the US dollar actually dropped this past week, okay, which allowed like the euro, the Great British pound, the Australian dollar, New Zealand dollar, allowed all these other pairs to actually gain, okay. But right now there's a lot of indecision in the market. There's a lot of fighting in the market right now. Everybody's trying to gain strength, okay. And the US dollar is very fragile right now, as you know, as we know, the US dollar is very fragile. But soon the US dollar will be picking up. I have faith in that because U.S. Congress is getting ready to pass a new stimulus bill, and they're getting ready to pump a lot of money back into the U.S. economy. So here in the next week or two, we should see, hopefully, we should see the U.S. dollar rebound and come back up. Okay, so do keep that in the back of your mind. Okay, that this coming month, okay, this is almost the end of October now. Starting November, sometime the first or second week in November, we should see the U.S. dollar have some serious uptrends. Okay, so for right now, the US dollar is very weak. Okay, anyhow, to start with, let's look at EURUSD right here. Okay, I have it on a 30-minute time frame, and we see that EURUSD more or less was in a flat range of market. Okay, but it did gain, right? And like I said, the US dollar dropped, so the euro did go up. Okay, so we do see that we have about a, from this point here up, so we have a 1,400 point gain this past week. Okay, that's pretty big gain for the euro against the US dollar. So now we do see that we hit a strong level of resistance right here. Okay, and the price dropped and came back up to that resistance level. Now the question is it going to be dropping again, or is it going to keep going up? On 30-minute chart, we have a blue arrow here, but never formed another red arrow. Okay, and that's simply because it hasn't hit this same exact resistance, okay, that it did before. And I could go ahead and mark that right there, just so you can see as a reference. Right now, let's go to the 4-hour chart and look at the 4-hour chart and see what we see here. All right, on the 4-hour chart, we have a down arrow. Price had dropped and then shot back up again. So what we're looking for is a price to shoot back up to that same level of resistance, okay, and drop back down again. All right, if we look at the daily chart, we see the same thing. Okay, this is a very strong level of resistance where this blue line is. It could possibly shoot a little higher. As you can see in the past, it did go higher, but I don't feel like it's going to be going that much higher. I do feel like this will be dropping this week. Okay, if you look at the weekly chart, same thing. Okay, we hit a very strong level of resistance and it should be dropping. All right, so what we should do this week, okay, with EURUSD, okay, go on the 1-hour chart or 30-minute chart like this. I'll stick to the 30-minute chart. Look for a red arrow to form on the 30-minute chart and then sell. All right, I think there would be more or less a flat range of market with a slight downtrend. Okay, and I know I said that before, but and the price did go up this past week. But anything that goes up must come down, and that's what you can clearly see. We are approaching a strong level of resistance. So in the beginning of the week, on Monday, we should see this price escalate and go back up to this point, and should form a red arrow on the 30-minute chart, probably even the 1-hour chart, and I don't know, but at least the 30-minute chart, and then that's when you want to sell. Do not buy right now. Do not buy. Sell only. Okay. Sell this week. Now you could buy and sell, that should be no problem, but keep in mind that selling is probably the better option. And either way, when you get a signal on a 30-minute chart, wait about at least 3 or 4 candles after you get the signal, just to make sure the indicator does not repaint, and then you can place a trade and close on the opposite color arrow. Okay, and just repeat that process. All right, so like I said, more or less we should see a flat range of market, and you can both buy and sell. Just keep in the back of your mind that the price will be dropping. Okay, so you can probably get more profit selling. Moving on to Great British Pound versus the US dollar. Again, this one was very strange. The price ended close to where it began. There was a slight gain, obviously, only about 1,000 points. So, and that's not that much for the Great British Pound. But we do see that the price escalated quite a bit, and then hit the strong resistance. Has been going down ever since. We have a blue arrow here, but doesn't really look like it's going to be going up too much. Now, if we look at the 4-hour chart, the 4-hour chart shows the sell. Okay, so we know that this is definitely going to be dropping. Okay, if you look at the daily chart, same thing. We have a red arrow but no blue arrow. So long term, this is going to be dropping. And if we look at the weekly chart now, we do not have a red arrow here. We have a blue arrow but no red arrow. But the thing is, though, this price hit here at the same level of resistance it hit before. So this will definitely be dropping. Okay, long term, in the next few weeks. Okay, I think it's going to drop even more coming in the coming month as the US dollar gains traction. So what we can do for right now is put your charts on a 30-minute time frame, and I would look for sell opportunities only. Okay, that is my best guess. Okay, because we should, in the beginning of the week, we should see the price go up. Okay, slightly. It'll go up some, and then it's going to hit a strong resistance. If I go to the 1-hour chart, see, we got this candle right here. I'm not sure exactly what that means, but if I could draw a trend line from here to there like that, so we might see the price escalate back up to this trend line, but I don't think so. Okay, I really don't think we're going to see that, because the 30-minute chart, you know, is like I said, it's very weak right now on the 30-minute chart. So do watch for this to go up in the beginning of the week, at least on Monday, and then probably Tuesday going to Wednesday, we should see a reversal, and it should be coming back down. Okay, so if you want, you could put, if you mark like this resistance, you could put a sell limit pending order right here, just under this resistance. Okay, and then wait for that to drop. Okay, that would be a perfect setup. Okay, also I would probably say that you could buy and sell this week. Okay, more or less I think we're going to see a flat range of market, but I would focus more on the selling aspect, simply because the 4-hour and the daily showed to drop. Okay, so I'll leave it up to you, but my best recommendation is to sell only. Okay, moving on to Australian dollar versus US dollar. Again, we see more or less a flat range of market. These two pairs are like gridlocked to one another. Okay, they are really, really tight right now. Okay, and the price ended almost where it began, and this is okay. This is actually ideal setup for both buying and selling, and this is kind of what I predicted last week. So this falls in line with my weekly predictions from last week. Now we do see 2 red arrows. Look at this, but no blue arrow. Okay, so typically when on a 30-minute time frame, when you have 2 red arrows or 2 arrows of the same color, the 3rd arrow should be the opposite color. Okay, it has happened that we had 3 arrows in a row, but that's very, very rare. So what I think is going to happen is we'll be dropping this week. Okay, now if we look at the 4-hour time frame, we have an up arrow. Okay, no red arrow. Okay, but the daily shows a drop and the weekly shows a drop. So what's going to happen is we hit a strong resistance right here. Okay, and if you go back down to a 30-minute time frame to look at that, right now we have a red arrow. Okay, the price dropped right here and then shot back up. okay, for whatever reason. Let me look at the 15-minute chart. Okay, the 15-minute chart, as you can see, formed a blue arrow here. Okay, we can see it a little clearer on the 15-minute chart. So at the beginning of the week, this falls in line with the previous two currency pairs. So in the beginning of the week on Monday, we should see this escalate back up to this resistance here. Okay, somewhere close to here, and then drop back down. Okay, and it's more or less it'll be dropping for most of the week. Okay, so we can predict that it's going to go up, down like that, but overall it's going to be dropping. So do not buy right now. Okay, it's a little late, but wait for the next red arrow on the 30-minute time frame or even 15-minute time frame like this, and then sell. Okay, so probably for this particular currency pair, I probably would put it on a 15-minute time frame, wait for the sell, and then boom. And I do not expect any big drops. Okay, it's going to be a slow trickle downhill, and I feel pretty safe that you could buy and sell both for this currency pair. But do keep your charts on a 15-minute time frame. I know I say to keep it on 30-minute, and you probably more or less could keep it on a 30-minute time frame, but wait until you sell and then close the trade on the next blue arrow. Okay, on a 30-minute or even 15-minute time frame. Since this is a tight range of market right now, I probably would keep it on a 15-minute time frame. All right, moving on to US dollar Swiss franc. So now, like I already said before, the US dollar had dropped, so we can clearly see here the US dollar ended a lot lower than where it began. Okay, it's about 1,000-point drop. Okay, so like I said, the GBP had a 1,000-point gain, the US dollar had a 1,000-point drop. Now, that's a pretty big drop for the US dollar. Okay, that was a lot more than I had anticipated. Okay, I thought in the beginning of the week we would see a slight drop and then it would rebound and come back up, and it has not done that. But what it has done is hit a pretty strong, pretty solid level of support, as you can see here. Okay, it hit the same blue arrow, okay, the same area as before. This blue arrow came down a little bit lower than the previous, and it hasn't really been going up. Okay, so like I said, US dollar is very fragile right now, very weak, but we will be seeing this come back up. Okay, now if we look at the 4-hour chart, all right, 4-hour chart, we have a strong support here, a strong signal to buy. If we mark that, we know that that is our support line. And if we look at the daily chart, we see that the daily chart had dropped even lower, okay, in the past. And the weekly chart as well, same thing, but we have all the higher time frames are showing to buy. Okay, so we know that this is definitely going to be going up long term. Okay, in the coming weeks, the coming months, we would definitely be seeing the US dollar rebound. Okay, so like here on the weekly chart, you can see here the last couple of weeks have just been bad. Okay, the US dollar has just been dropping. Okay, but that's okay, because even if you're stuck in a buy trade right now that's dropped, eventually it's going to come back up. You just got to have patience on this one. Okay, so right now, based on what we're seeing, if you put it on 30-minute chart, okay, we see that solid level of support right here. I can bring it up a little bit. I think that it might drop a little bit in the beginning of the week. Okay, I feel pretty confident in the beginning on Monday, we should see this US dollar drop down to this blue line. It might even drop further, I don't know. But Tuesday going to Wednesday, we're probably around close to Wednesday, we should see this spike back up. Okay, more or less, however, we will see a flat range of market, a continuation of what we saw this past week. Okay, so do not expect any big uptrends to develop. Okay, so what you can do is put your charts on a 30-minute time frame. I don't know about 15-minute, but 30 minutes should be fine. All right, let's see, 15-minute shows, nope, yeah, 30-minute, keep your charts on a 30-minute time frame, but we already got a signal to buy. Okay, but wait for this to drop. Do not place a trade right away. Okay, but keep your charts on a 30-minute time frame. Watch for this to drop some, and then if it hits the support, then you can buy again. Okay, Now let's look at the 4 hour. Well, we already did that. Moving on to USDJPY. Sorry. On the 30-minute time frame, we see that this did drop. Okay. More or less, like it was running a flat range of market, but minus this big drop right here, and that's about a 1,200, 1,300 point drop. So again, the US dollar just tanked all of a sudden, and that's pretty much typical of all the USD pairs. Now it's just running in a flat range of market like this. Okay, it's just stuck. And question now, is it going to be going back up? I know the USDJPY runs a little crazy sometimes. It doesn't really follow patterns like all the other USD pairs, but long term this should be going up. Okay, we look at the 4 hour chart, it's definitely showing to go up, but it's very weak right now. The US dollar is very fragile, and it is not showing signs of going to a serious uptrend. The daily chart has an up arrow and the weekly chart as well, so we know long term this is going up. But look at the weekly chart. Okay, the weekly chart had the big spike up, and then it's just been going down ever since. Okay, so that's not good, okay, for the US dollar. But if we come down to some of the smaller time frames, we get a clearer picture of what's really going on, and we can see that, you know, even in the 4 hour chart, we hit a pretty strong support here. We had a stronger support here in the past that was lower. So the fact that this support here is higher than the previous is good. Okay, that means long term it's going to be going up. So I feel that this will definitely be going up this week. We could draw a trend line like this to mark our support going up. If you go back down to the 30-minute time frame, you see that support, right? So 30-minute chart shows to sell. So what we're looking for is the price to drop and hit that support. Okay, so like I've already said, excuse me, wait for the price to drop on the 30-minute time frame and then buy. It should form a blue arrow, and then we'll see the price continue to go up. Okay, more or less we need to look to buy the US dollar this week. Excuse me, but I do think it would be okay to both buy and sell, because like I said, the US dollar is weak right now. It's just trying to fight and come back. We had a big drop here, so it's slowly. Let me zoom out a little bit. Okay, it's slowly working its way back up, and we will see. We had an uptrend here, kind of sideways. So we're looking for the price to go. I'm trying to think how high it's going to go. I do not think it's going to go that high. We have a resistance right here. Okay, I'm going to mark that resistance. Actually, mark that support here. Well, that's a support right here. Okay, that was broken and is now a resistance. It's going to go to at least that high, if not higher. We have marked this support right here. Okay, so this is more or less probably where it's going to be going this week. So I would count on this to be going up this week. Okay, I would not be looking to sell so much, but you can both buy and sell. I think that shouldn't be no problem, because we're not going to see any huge gains this week. Okay, so wait for a blue arrow on a 30-minute time frame, buy, close on opposite red arrow, and then repeat the process. All right, just keep in mind that overall trend is going to be bullish. It's going to be going up. Okay, so you could probably more or less want to buy USDJPY. US dollar, Canadian dollar. Okay, let's look at this one real quick. This one is always interesting because these two are very strong currencies. Okay, and they're both in North America, and they're both pretty much dependent on oil for their currency backing. So they follow the same kind of trends, if you will. Now, when you put US dollar and Canadian dollar together, they clash really good. And we see a tight range of market. Okay, I say tight, but it's, you know, not huge movements, definitely no trends. If I get the crosshairs, we see from this high point to this low point is 1,200 points. So that's not a big difference, okay? That's a decent, okay? We had a decent drop here, and it looks like the US dollar is starting to gain strength, but it did end lower than where it began, obviously. So the question is it going to be going up this week, or is it going to just go sideways? I don't think it's going to be dropping really, but I think we're probably going to see a flat range of market. Let's look at the 4-hour chart. Okay, the 4-hour chart shows to go up. Okay, so we can count on this in the long run to be going up. The daily chart shows to go up, and the weekly as well. The thing about the weekly is we had a red arrow but no blue arrow, but we did hit a strong level of support right here. Okay, so just pretend there's the blue arrow right there. All right, I know I've already said that in the past, but this will be going up long term. Okay, so let's go back down to the 4-hour chart. Okay, 4-hour chart, watch this. If we go from this point down here like that, this will mark our resistance coming down. Okay, so this marks our downtrend. So officially we're still in a downtrend. Until this breaks, we're not going to be in an uptrend. Okay, so we're looking for that to break, which I don't know if that's going to happen this week. It's the problem. Drop down to a 30-minute time frame to get a little clearer picture. We see that trend line there. Now we should see the price escalate back up. In the beginning of the week, let's see, 15-minute chart shows the sell right now. So just like I already said in the previous two currency pairs, in the beginning of the week, watch for this to drop a bit, okay, and then spike back up. So on this particular currency pair, since it's been in such a tight range of market, I would probably put on a 15-minute chart versus the 30-minute, and I would look to both buy and sell, okay, because we're not going to see, I don't think we're going to see a trend line break, number one, and I don't think we're going to see any huge gains. I think we're going to be stuck in a flat range of market this week, and next week is the non-farm payroll. So we should see, that affects both the Canadian dollar and the US dollar, so we should see some big movements happening next week, okay? So for this week, I don't expect any huge movements. I don't expect any huge trends to develop, no serious breakouts. So you can both buy and sell. Keep your charts on the 15-minute time frame, since it's such a, like I said, it's such a tight range of market right now. Okay, it's very indecisive, but you could technically sell right now, wait for the next blue arrow, and just repeat that process. Okay, but definitely, I would definitely wait until you get a blue arrow and then buy, since this is already dropping, and then just keep repeating that process. Okay, buy on the blue, sell on the red. Okay, when you buy, close that trade on the opposite color arrow. Okay, and when you sell, close it on the blue arrow, just like that. All right, so just keep repeating the process like that, and you'll be perfectly fine. So anyhow, that basically concludes my weekly trade predictions. If you have any questions at all about these currency pairs, or if you have another currency pair that you want me to analyze, please hit me up on Facebook. There is a link below in the description video for my personal Facebook. Please contact me there first. Okay, also there is a link for my private Facebook group, and you can request to join my Facebook group and post any questions or comments in my Facebook group. Okay, so I'd be happy to help you, and we can all collaborate as a team in my group. All right, that's the whole idea about this Facebook group. So anyhow, let me know how I can help you. Thank you, and have a wonderful week ahead.